said a Zen master, "If you have a staff, I will give you one. If you do not have a staff, I will take one away from you." If you cannot answer, I shall give you 30 blows. If you can answer, I shall give you 30 blows. What is the Buddha? A stick of dry dung. It's important to take things at face value, and we tend to over-conceptualize our face value. We tend to think that we know what face value is instead of being in the present moment and experiencing face value. I had a great conversation with Jules, and in it he talks about his journey and about people not accepting is the wrong word, but look, the lifelong practitioner of the martial arts experiences a thing, and everybody experiences it differently. Some people chase that term master or sifu or sensei or whatever. Years ago, probably 15 years ago, I started having my students call me sensei. Not because I teach Japanese art exclusively. You know, I teach a combination of Japanese and Chinese arts. Probably more Chinese, and for that, I should probably be called Sifu. I picked sensei because of the juxtaposition between what is being taught and what should be perceived, and then also the meaning of sensei, just meaning the one that came before. And I thought, well, surely I come before. Don't call me master or grandmaster. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and not that I look down on anybody that does that. I completely get it. I respect it. I will call somebody what they want to be called, what they've earned to be called. It just wasn't for me, you know? And Jules has earned the title of Guru. With much love and respect, I extend that to him. But he talks about the struggle that exists with that. And I think that struggle that exists is in certain people over-conceptualizing what that means. When you call somebody master or guru or grandmaster, senior grandmaster, you're only recognizing their gung fu, their time on task. You're only recognizing the amount of time they have dedicated to the art. You're recognizing all of the knowledge that they have absorbed and put into place. You're not recognizing lineage. You're not recognizing that someone is in some way, shape, or form better than you. The true master, the true guru recognizes that they can learn from a white belt, recognizes that they can build from somebody that has never taken a martial arts class ever and is walking through the doors for the first time. I hope you enjoy this conversation. I hope you get something out of it. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's something else. If you are a martial artist and watching this podcast and would like to be a part of this podcast, reach out to me. I'm super easy to get a hold of. Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, keepkickingpod@gmail.com. If you if you would like to have Discord, if you would like to have actual conversation about differences in opinions, reach out to me, please. We don't have to air it. We don't have to do it on a podcast. We can do it via email back and forth. We can do it via text message. We can do it via instant message. We can do it via sending private YouTube links to each other to show technique. I think that there's more in common than there is apart. And I think that if we start having better Discord, we can come to mutual understanding. That is what I hope for all of you and for all of us, right? Much love. Blessings to all that have listened or watched this. And keep kicking, guys.
Keep kicking, never quitting. Focus sharp like a blade that's hitting. From white belt dreams to the master flow, Paul Coffey's got the mic, now the stories grow. Technique entails discipline and fire. Each guest brings truth to inspire. Keep kicking, step into your power. Keep kicking, moment to the hour. Every strike, every fall, every rise. It's a journey through a warrior's eyes. Old school, new school, all styles blend. From the mat to the mic where the arts ascend. Philosophy deep, but the vibe stays tight. Martial minds meeting in the podcast light. Keep kicking, step into your power. Keep kicking, moment to the hour. Every strike, every fall, every rise. It's a journey through a warrior's eyes. Keep kicking. Keep kicking. Paul Coffey leads and the journey begins. Paul Coffey leads and the journey begins. Technique entails discipline and fire. Each guest brings truth to inspire. Keep kicking, step into your power. Keep kicking, moment to the hour. Every strike, every fall, every rise. It's a journey through a warrior's eyes. Keep kicking. Keep kicking. Paul Coffey leads and the journey begins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Keep Kicking, martial arts podcast, where I have martial conversations with my martial arts friends. And today, I sit down with Jules. Jules, go ahead. Tell the
Hey
people
guys, how you
about
doing? I'm Guru Jules, training Bukta Nagara Silat. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being a part of it, man. Tell me how you got started in martial arts.
Oh wow! So that was a long time ago. I was about 15 officially when I started training. There was a TV show I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, California, and there was a TV show called on public access TV called Martial Arts and Beyond. And this guy who would become my Sifu later on, Mark Baliff, he would run this TV show. It was like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night. It was like an hour maybe. And I would always record it, watch it, and then try to emulate the stuff that he was doing on the show. And then eventually I was like, let me just go check him out. Called him, and that was the beginning of that. And JKD, he taught JKD Kali Silat. He was one of the original Dog Brothers from the Inosono Academy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's That's a good introduction. So then, tell me where you went from there.
So from there, I down the street from my house there was this Shaolin school. They taught Thai Mantis, Shaolin Long Fist, and just kind of JKD is very non-classical, right?
Yep.
An idea, and so I wanted to see what this classical thing I'm supposed to be against. What is it about? So it kind of makes sense, right? So I went
Right.
to
Right.
go check them out, and it's actually a pretty crazy story. It ties into my kind of journey into martial arts. The teacher there, the head teacher under Sifu Cam Ewan, his name was Mike Marshall, and
Mm-hmm.
a very unassuming fellow. Definitely built like buff, but otherwise you wouldn't think anything of him. In any event,
Mm-hmm.
I introduced myself, and he asked if I had any other martial art experience. I said, "Yeah, I do JKD Kali." He kind of scoffed at it, and he goes, "Yeah, yeah, one of these other guys here, he does that JKD Kali crap." He said some other words, but I don't know if I can
Right.
cuss on
Right.
here,
Right.
so yeah, we'll say
You
crap.
absolutely can.
Okay. And so then I met who became my like spiritual big brother in many ways, Louis Yu, and he also trained JKD Kali under my same teacher, Mark Baloff. Mark Baloff taught
Okay.
privately in his garage. He converted into a training school. So there were some people you wouldn't necessarily meet. They were just on different schedules. So he happened to be senior to me. Pardon me. And so we kind of just instantly connected. Um, and then from there, I was training that. Mike Marshall also trained Hungar under Sifu Donald
Mm-hmm.
Hamby, an exceptional
Mm-hmm.
martial artist. The the first time I met Sifu Donald, uh, I was maybe 16 or so, and he says, "So,
Mm-hmm.
young man, how do you like training here?" I go, "It's okay. It's cool, but I do JKD Kali. Very proud JKD Kali guy, right? I do JKD Kali." He
Right.
goes, "Oh, really? Can you show me?" No problem. I had no idea who I was talking to. I just know he knows
Mm-hmm.
Sifu Mike, but he asked me about JKD Kali. So, yeah, I'll show you. So we kind of a playful spar, but we go to spar, and
Mm-hmm.
long story short, he baits me and takes this crane position, and it like all happened in
Mm.
slow motion in my head. I'm like, you can't do a crane. Like, what does this guy think he is in a kung fu movie? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
Right.
And I go to throw in JKD what's called a shovel hook. JKD has one
Mm-hmm.
of the principles shared in a lot of martial arts, right? Closest natural weapon, closest natural target. So I go to throw my shovel hook. He counters, hits me like 3 or 4 times, sweeps me, and as he's looking down at me, he goes, "You're not bad, kid." I'm just confused. I'm like, "What do you mean I'm not bad?" Right? Like, just my whole world is shattered. And he goes,
Right.
"Well, basically, I baited you, and had you not took that attack, the fight would have went very differently for you." He goes, "But
Mm-hmm.
that was the right attack to take. I just knew you were going to do it, so I had a counter prepared." I was like, "Holy moly, that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing," right? And so I started training Hungar under him for a while
Right.
because, yeah, I was just, my loyalty was kind of to the most badass martial art, right? In my mind, or what I perceived to
Okay.
be,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so then Louis, he also trained with my teacher Mark Baloff in JKD, but he also trained typical JKD guy, right? You train with different people. So he also trained
Yeah.
with another JKD guy, and he ended up meeting who has passed a couple years ago, Guru Cliff Stewart, who's
Mm-hmm.
actually in Enter the Dragon, the scene where Jim Kelly runs
Mm-hmm.
into the black karate studio. If you pause
Mm-hmm.
it, and I believe you look on the back right, you'll see Cliff Stewart in there. He's one of the original founders of the BKF, Black Karate Federation. Um, so at any event, Louis had brought Cliff Stewart to the Shaolin West School just to show Silat because JKD
Mm-hmm.
guys kind of end up training Silat at some point. Um, so Cliff being
It
a
just feeds.
yeah, just kind of it flows like that, and
That's good.
Cliff asks, he says, anyone here does JKD Kali? And me being the proud JKD Kali guy I am, right? Hey, I do. He goes, oh, really? Do you know the 5 ways to attack? Of course, progressive indirect attack, attack by draw, blah, 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 name them off. He goes, okay. He goes, do you know 6 count from Kali? I go, of course I do, And he goes, okay. Let me see, I'm going to throw an attack. So he throws a punch. I block it. I do like a back fist, punch, something. And he goes, okay, not bad. He goes, now I'm going to do it to you. Okay, cool. So I'm left-handed, but, since we're not serious, I go with my right hand, and I throw a punch. He parries it. He throws 3 punches. I block the first one. I don't even see the other 2. They just touch my head. And I was just like, what happened? And I go, okay, do that again. Do that again. And then before I can throw my punch out, he stops my hand, and he goes, no. And I'm even more confused, right? I'm like, what do you mean no? He goes, well, when you do that, you're just playing around. I'm going to show you Bukti Nagara Silat, what we do. So, okay, sure. So in my mind, I took that as like, my JKD and Kali fucking sucks. And so it's kind of like a challenge, right? So I switched to my left lead. Right. I go, I'm going to show this guy, my JKD Kali is awesome. And I go to throw the best, JKD lead, Bruce Lee influenced jab, I can muster, and my jab doesn't come out. I end up on the floor, and again on the floor looking up, right? Story of my life, and he looks down at me. He goes, "That's Bukti Nagara," and Louis, who had seen what I had no idea what it was. Louis, I seen this in the corner, just dying laughing at me, and I was just like, "That was so cool! I don't even know what you did. I want to train." and
that's how we all kind of do it. Is like we dedicate years to something, and then it's like that guy's more badass than I am. So what does he got?
Yeah, right. Just like in a kung fu movie, the guy beats your teacher. You either train with that guy or you seek vengeance. You go train on a waterfall or something.
Right. That's right. So when did you start teaching? When did you start teaching?
I officially became a guru in 2017 in May. But I was teaching prior to that. It's called like a Pilati, like a senior student with the credentials to teach, but just not officially a teacher. Yeah, so then in 2017 is when I started doing that. So yeah, I was teaching maybe, I don't know, 8 years or so before that, maybe even more.
Awesome. Yeah. How's teaching help your martial art?
Oh, man. It's funny you say that. So Louis, he became a guru, obviously, before I did in Bukti Nagara. They kind of give you like 2 senior students to like mentor you of sorts, right? Like everyone trains, but there's like 2 people who are over you kind of thing. So, we talk, I've known him since I was 15. So we had he's like my big brother. So we would talk, and then he would often say, he goes, what makes a teacher or a guru different or special is their ability to explain something in multiple different ways.
Sure.
Right? And in having to explain it so many different ways, you have to understand it, in a much deeper level. So I think that's probably like the most benefit, because, something that may come very natural to you, you have to then like dissect it to someone where it doesn't become natural and then explain it. Like, okay, do this. But then you watch them move and you go, that's not quite right. Why don't you try moving like this? Okay, that works better for you, right? So that kind of builds up a repertoire for you, right? Because now you have a different understanding of how you could possibly move too, or other options and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that answer. What do you think the average martial arts practitioner neglects in their own practice?
Ooh. Wow. That's a great question. I always tell people, I go, guys, don't forget you are martial arts students. So in being a
Hmm.
student, right, where's your notebook? Where's your pen and paper? Uh, what are you doing after class, right? Because what I show you in class, really, for us, in my mind, right, you come to class to show me all the stuff you've been working on outside of class. So then I can then
Hmm.
evaluate it and see if I can give you more stuff so you can go back and work on and then come back and show me you've
Hmm.
improved on, right? So I would say,
Hmm.
students need to be students, right? Write stuff down after class. Video yourself if you have to, and then go over it. Because how long
Hmm.
is class, right? Like an hour and a half. That's not enough
Hmm.
time to adequately, teach something. I can give you corrections. I can watch what you're doing, right? Make suggestions. Do this. Try this. But then, next
Hmm.
time class comes around, you haven't done those things. It's like, and you want me to show you something else, but I can't because what you need to know the other thing you didn't practice, and so how can you do the next thing?
Right.
Uh huh.
Right. Well, yeah. Most people don't look at martial arts in that capacity, but really, it's like we are a college lecture, and then the work that you do when you're at home, studying over the notes you took during the lecture, doing your own independent research, digging deeper into the subject matter.
Exactly.
That's what, yeah, yes.
Exactly.
What advice do you have or would you give to somebody that's watching this that hasn't started martial arts yet but would like to start?
Oh, jump in.
Head first.
Just jump in. Yeah, yeah. Find something that interests you. Different people train for different reasons.
Hmm.
Right? Not everyone wants to be a UFC fighter, or not everyone wants to be the most badass street fighter. Uh,
Hmm.
Sometimes people don't even want to defend themselves, really, right? They like, I'd rather not
Right.
punch someone. Which
Hmm.
to some of us in martial arts, we're like, what do you mean? Like, especially when you're justified, right? Like, now's the time.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can legally do it. Go for it. But
Right.
um, you know, yeah, I think find something you like to train. Find something that is efficient in that, right? That accomplishes that goal, whether it's self-defense, uh, and be open to other things, right? There's so many different systems out there, right? And different ways of doing
Sure.
things. Yeah, yeah. Find something that works well with you, you know?
Hmm. So, this podcast is about closing the divide that exists, not making it stronger. But I always, in tongue in cheek, say, tell me why your style is the best style.
Ooh, ooh. Now I get to brag, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
uh, no, truthfully, Pendecker, the grandmaster of our system, Pendecker Paul de Torres, he would always say this art is great for older people and women. And if you were smart enough to ask why, then he'd
yeah.
tell you,
Hmm.
right? And he'd say, well, uh, the art is not based on strength, right? So your ability to manipulate the person, to hit strong, to sweep, whatever you're
Hmm.
doing, is based on physics and science. So it will work as long as you apply the proper principles and mechanics. So someone who is much
I
smaller,
like that answer. I like that a lot.
yeah, can definitely move someone who is much bigger with ease. You know.
Hmm.
So I think that's what
It,
makes my art, you know, pretty badass.
in what ways? What do you all do conceptually different?
Uh Body alignment and structure. So like one of the things is for us, we won't, if we're, let's say, making a long punch. I don't know if you
Hmm.
can, right? But if we're making a long punch, we will
Hmm.
only punch to right where our fist goes naturally. So there should be a slight bend in your arm, right? Not locked,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be on your shoulder line because structurally you can impact things harder there in your body. It won't be just your arm; it'll be your whole body
Mm-hmm.
making the impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
that also translates into things like, you might watch like boxing or UFC or street fights even. You see a guy swing and he's so close to hitting him, but it's out of his range, and so they reach farther, and then that puts them in a bad predicament. They get countered, right? They get countered punched or something happens, right? For us, as
Mm-hmm.
long as you follow the rules, that won't happen because you're only going to punch to where your arm is going to go, and you're not going to go any farther or
Mm-hmm.
any shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I really like that. Do you have any Wing Chun experience at all by some chance?
kind of from my JKD days, right?
Yeah,
JKD
yeah,
is
yeah,
kind of
yeah, 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 yeah.
tied into Wing Chun.
Does JKD talk about the defensive and offensive triangles that exist?
Uh, Not so much, kind of.
That
Not in pure JKD, right? You'd get that from like
yeah,
Kali
yeah,
or something.
yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Defensive triangle, elbows are tucked into my ribs and I touch my fingertips. And then if I'm looking down, the defensive triangle, I don't need to act defensively unless an attack is coming into that space. And the offensive triangle is extended natural
Okay.
shoulder with my fingertips touching. And
Ah,
that's my offensive triangle. And so I should never extend past that. I bring that up because of the Jake and D, but also because I'm starting my own person. I've been doing martial arts for 32 years. I've been teaching for 28, and I say that
wow.
I'm the worst martial arts teacher that you could have. But I'm the best damn student to have in the class.
Awesome.
And the reason is because of always asking why and always trying to figure it out.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, currently working on new principles of yielding, and I'm bringing this up to you because it seems like it heightens very similar to the way you're talking about your punch. Because if I scoot this back a little bit and give myself a little bit more room, a traditional yield, I would block and I would yield this way. And
Yep.
in doing this, you can even see on camera as I yield, I'm binding this up.
Yep.
So if you're here, I can't attack with this. It's too far back and it's bound. It's confined. And so working on as you yield in a way that where I redirect this strike, but I'm still forward moving, forward facing.
Yeah.
So,
You're describing boots in
so
the guard.
am I?
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah. Yeah.
about your all's yielding. Tell me
So
about this.
our first form, they call them jurus. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you can see it's right. Your hand. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting with my left side, my hand will come up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to the right, to the left. I make a elbow, punch, punch.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this first
Okay.
part here is like that defensive triangle you were saying. This
Mm-hmm.
area is where my elbow goes. So this is the distance that I want to operate in, and anything outside of this, I don't worry about. So
Mm-hmm.
as so like I was saying earlier, we keep everything on our shoulder line. Let's say the attack is coming
Mm-hmm.
in. If I pick it up with my right hand and it's coming here, when I only need to turn so much, and it will deflect off of my line. I'm not in the way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My left hand, if you look at where my left hand is going, it's now lined up to attack in the center. So at the
Mm-hmm.
same
Mm-hmm.
time, like Wing Chun calls simultaneously block and hit.
Yes.
So because for us, we want to use our whole body. So if I pull this back, this naturally makes my other hand go forward. So I might as well use that energy
Mm-hmm.
to attack with.
Yep.
Uh huh.
Yep. And you know what else I like is that while you're doing that yield, you're maintaining this
Yes.
line so that
Yes.
if you had to chamber here, yeah.
Exactly. And now, like you said, my hand
Yes.
is not so far back. I'm not going like
Mm-hmm.
this, and now my hand is over here, kind of,
Yes.
right? When I do
Mm-hmm.
this, my hand is still lined up on this same line. So in case
Mm-hmm.
they jab hook, right, or maybe it was a cross
Mm-hmm.
hook, I can still
Mm-hmm.
pick this up and then defend the cross if I need to, right, or defend the cross, defend the cross.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
love that. What does your style teach in the way of footwork to complement that?
so we
This
use
is me being a student and asking the student
yeah,
questions.
yeah,
By
no,
the
I love
way,
it. I love it. You're like right there.
that's what you sign up for when you sign up for the podcast.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. We never stop learning,
So,
right?
that's right. That's
We
right.
never stop.
Well, it's if the water stops flowing, it becomes stagnant.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
I always say
go
if
ahead.
something is alive, it continues to grow, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody recently said to me that life is movement.
Exactly.
So we should constantly move.
Constantly move.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so, footwork.
Yeah. So for us, we have we use the triangle or the tiga, right? Like people will say.
Mm-hmm.
We use both the offensive and defensive, except we don't necessarily back up, right? So whereas like Kali may, use one for defense to retreat on, we are kind of always going in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether
And so then it's in and picking your angle. Then
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we're able to if we're going first, we align ourselves in such a way that we always attack the second hand. So I'm already expecting the second hand to come out. So let's say if it's a jab, jab cross, I'm already gonna intercept, and my other hand has already cut that line. So I have a barrier up that they have to then try to get across, and I don't have to think so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you're making them work around your structure.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, for us,
I like that a lot.
We like to think of ourselves as the sun, and anyone else can be whatever planet they can be. We don't care. You rotate around us, right?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Because there's a mentality there that's really important for the self-preservation aspect of martial arts.
Yes.
That's it's putting the proper philosophy at the foreground, whereas like some styles and some schools kind of teach it after the fact. I like that it's like very front facing there. Which leads me into the troubling times question. So I've in my own personal martial arts journey, I back up a couple of steps. One is I don't have a school. I currently just teach out of rehab centers and other places. I teach to one group of disenfranchised individuals that are part of the LGBT community. So that's my current martial arts work, right?
Okay, awesome.
And so among those individuals and among my peers that are in Louisville, we're having this conversation. I've extended this conversation into this podcast so that I can get other people's perspective.
Okay.
So the question starts with an omission. The omission being, as a lifelong practitioner of martial arts, I recognize that I myself am equal parts sadistic and masochistic. So that's the omission. I realize that I'm like that. I also realize that most of my students probably aren't. So then the question is, how do you teach nonviolent people to be violent when they need to be?
Ooh, wow. It's very interesting. So Another conversation I was having with my big brother Louis one day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave the names out, but we're talking about a particular student, and
Mm-hmm.
I said he was like, he just doesn't quite have it. I'm like, to me it
Mm-hmm.
was weird. Right? I'm like, what do you mean he doesn't have it? He's like, well, he's not like us. I'm like, well, you can teach him to be more aggressive. I'll use the word, right? Uh,
Okay.
and he goes, no, you don't realize. He goes, Jewel, of all the things that I've taught you, we've talked about, he goes, I never had to teach you how to be violent, right? Like, that's not
Mm-hmm.
one thing I ever had to, try to teach you how to be. You just naturally know how to, not that I'm an asshole or anything, right? But when the time
Right.
comes, people like us, we just naturally turn it on, right? We're like, oh, okay, let's go.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Right.
like, well, everyone has that. And he's like,
I saw it in
no.
your face. I saw it in your face. I'm sorry. I know that look far too well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You're like, all
Yeah.
right, dude,
Yeah.
like, here it is.
Yep.
And I thought that I go, you can just teach that to anyone. But I was wrong, right? One of the few times I'm willing to admit. It's like twice in my life, maybe.
Right.
Right? And some people just have that. Some people do not. Some people maybe put in certain situations will bring that out. But if you're not able to develop like an on and off switch for it, the time that it takes to get there may be too late. Because
So the on and off switch has been a part of this conversation because I recognize that happens, and I recognize that we could be sparring and you are no longer Jewel in front of me. You are now just the body that's in front of me. And that's kind of how we do it, right?
yeah.
But I had a person that was a victim of abuse
Oh,
say, yeah, but that's dehumanizing somebody, and we've had that happen to us, so we don't want that to happen to somebody else, which I respect.
right.
My past, I was abused as a child.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So part of what gave me the masochistic and sadistic abilities,
Yeah.
And so,
Made lemonade.
I don't, right, it did. I don't, because I've experienced it. I know how horrible it is, but I do not have a problem turning it on and letting somebody experience it if they're hurting others.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so I think for me, the difference is I am okay with being judge, jury, and executioner because I will decide when those moments are. And I'm not going to do it to somebody walking in the mall because he looked at me the wrong way.
Exactly.
But I also respect somebody that's been through it and doesn't want to put it through somebody else. So it's a bit of it's a hard thing,
Yeah.
And I've got friends that I've interviewed that have said, well, we tell our students to pick somebody worth fighting for, maybe it's a dog, maybe it's a loved one. And so then that's in the back of your mind. And so then you're not fighting for yourself. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for somebody else. I had a wonderful gentleman a couple of weeks ago that I interviewed, and he said the first thing that I do is give people permission to hurt people.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But
I try to explain it to them too. Like you said, it won't be someone who's in the mall just looking at you weird or mistakenly bumps into you, who cut you off, right, because they weren't paying attention. Right? It will be for the right person at the right place, right? But also, you have to realize who you're going against, right? And they have already chose to dehumanize you, right? And at that point, that person, like there is a contract, an unspoken contract spoken right, uh, amongst people where we agree not to do certain things to each other, right? We can
Right.
disagree, but and then unless someone agrees to go there, and then the other person is a willing participant, right? For the most part, we
Mm-hmm.
have a contract not to engage in certain activities, and once they've broken that contract, I feel like you're within your right to, uh, you know, give them what they asked for.
To write a new contract.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. At that point, I'm not the bad guy if I, sweep you and bash your head
Right.
into the wall. That's your fault.
Right.
Your head would have never
Right.
gotten bashed into the wall had you not have, done the wrong thing. Yeah, don't be a bad person. That won't happen to you.
Right.
Yeah, but I
Right.
have people I
No,
need to go home to, and
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, if you could give every martial arts practitioner one thing, it can be a concept, it can be a technique, a philosophy, what would it be?
Ooh, one thing. Wow. Can it be like one thing tied together to make two?
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Go ahead.
no, for us, and this kind of goes one of those conversations again having with my big brother. Being a guru, being a man, being a martial artist, being a woman, those are all things that require honor and respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would say. Whether you are just a man or a woman, you should have honor and respect. If you do martial arts, you should be held to an even higher standard of honor and
Yeah.
respect. If you're a guru, a sifu, a coach, whatever your title is, you're held to an even higher standard, right, of honor and respect.
Mm-hmm.
So be a good person and stand up for the right things, right?
Absolutely.
That's what I would give to any martial artist, any person, right? Be a good person and stand up
Right.
for the right things.
I appreciate that. And I also hope that that's already given to them and you didn't need to do it. You know, I
Yes.
know I've met the martial artists that do not walk that right walk. They do exist. I don't
Insane.
understand why.
Me
I don't
neither.
understand why. But hopefully they pull their heads out of their asses.
Yes. It's insane. I became a guru. Before I became a guru, I never said I was a guru. There were people who,
Mhm.
before I could teach, there were people who'd say, "Oh, well, your training booked in the guard. Just show me." No, I cannot. I don't have permission to.
Right, right,
It's not the right thing to do. I could have, right? But it was not
right,
the right thing to do. I just
right.
try to do the right thing.
Well,
Okay?
you can show somebody basic how to defend themselves, but not the art.
Right,
You can show somebody techniques that will help themselves. You can
yes,
even show them techniques that they can use for exercise or, but not the system's different. Like,
yeah,
and a lot of people from the outside don't understand. We have to guard that so that we maintain the posterity of the system. Like,
right,
those things are in place to maintain the thing that you want to learn.
right, right.
So,
100%,
so
brother.
right, right. So how has martial arts helped you outside of the dojo?
Oh wow. Uh, Multiple different ways. One funny way, actually. I was standing in the store looking at some drinks selections to get, and one of the guys who works at the store walks up to me and stops. Right, he walks past me, stops, and he's kind of looking at me. I always pay attention to people, my surroundings, right? Not paranoid, but pay attention,
Right,
right?
right.
And so I kind of look over my shoulder. He goes, "Hey, man, I don't want to startle you or anything." He goes, "But you look like a badass." I was like, and you know, I always try to be aware of myself. So I always try to just be nice. I'm always smiling. You know, I'm never like
Mhm.
at people.
Right,
Uh,
right, right,
you know, it's better to smile, right? And so I
right.
looked at him. I
Keep
go,
the switch
no,
off.
man. Yeah, yeah, switch off. Yeah, yeah. And I look at him. I go, no, man. What makes you say that? And he goes, something about you. You know, you just look like you have that thing. And I think
Mhm.
maybe that's what martial arts, right, has maybe given me outside of the dojo, right? It's just
Sure.
that unnameable thing, right? That confidence, that
Right.
security, you know. And then you carry that with you wherever
Yeah,
you go, right?
you nail it, man, by saying unnameable because, like, it's sort of confidence, but it's something else. You
Right, right.
know?
Yeah, it's not quite confidence. It's
Yeah.
not really ego, right?
Right.
It's got pieces of those things, but it's not that. It's this
Right.
thing.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's something else that martial arts gives us. We don't get it anywhere else.
Right.
Right. Um, how has martial arts helped you with like professional life or maybe as a we make it broad, a father if you're a father, a husband if you're a husband, or a partner, or whatever. How has it helped you in those capacities?
Uh I think it's probably helped me in the sense, you know, martial arts is very real in the sense where if you say you can do something and then you can't, you're gonna get punched in the face or you're gonna get kicked, you know, in the stomach or into
Mm-hmm.
something because you didn't do what you thought you could do.
Right.
So you can't really fake it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of carry that into life, right? So it allows me to look at not only other people, but what I may be doing wrong, right? That's the first thing that you need to look at is where did you go wrong within yourself before you look at where someone else went wrong. In our art, we always say the
Mm-hmm.
attacker's never wrong. So, you know, what did you do, right? Start there, fix that.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I like that. The attacker's never wrong. My instructor, she says you want I could teach you a technique that will help you win 100% of every bar fight you're in. And then she says, don't go to bars.
I used to visit my when I was younger. We'd go to visit my uncle. He lives in Arkansas, and he'd pick us up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was a young kid, and you know, you see the arcade machine and want to play like Punch Out or something. I said, Uncle, can I have a
Yeah.
quarter? One day he goes, I'll give you a quarter if you can solve this riddle. You're smart, right? I say, yeah, I'm smart.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, setting myself up for failure, right? He goes,
Right.
he goes, how do you get a quarterback? I'm like, a quarterback? Like, what do you mean, like football? How do you? He's like, no. You asked me for a quarter. I thought he was trying to trick me, right? I was smart enough to ask the question. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
He
Right.
goes, no, you asked me for a quarter. How do you get a quarterback? I'm like, huh. I'm like, well, if I put a hole in the quarter and tie a string, I can pull it out. He's like, nope. I'm like, I can, you know, break into the lock somehow and get the quarter. He's no. And we're still walking, mind you, farther away from the game that I want to play, right? And I'm like, oh my God. So we get all the way in the car, and he's like, you still haven't figured it out, have you? No, Uncle, what's the answer? He goes, well, if you never put it in, you don't have to get the quarter back. Ah, son of a.
That's right. Yeah. So you could have had a quarter, but then not played the game.
That went right. Oh man. Uh-huh. So yeah,
uh,
she's right. That's sage knowledge, you know.
mm-hmm. So tell me about your current martial arts journey. Where are you at now? You teach? Do you are studying anything else? Are you about to study something else? Or
Wow.
where are we at currently?
So still studying Bukta Nagara. Um
Mm-hmm.
the art is so vast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's just so much more to learn. Right? Pendecker would often say
Mm-hmm.
he'd say, how do you say? He'd say, I have not seen the end. And you'd say,
Mm,
really, Pendecker, why is that? You'd say, well, how can you see the end until you have died? It takes a lifetime to
mm,
master a martial art. And he
mm-hmm.
goes, and he would say, that's why I keep training. And then I would respond to him, I'd say, and that's why I will keep training too, Pendecker.
That's great. So the thirst for knowledge is what keeps you going, then, for
What
sure,
keeps you
right?
going? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite every day, but enough so to where I'm going over something and I'm like, oh, that's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, if I do it like
Mm-hmm.
this, it's that much better. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or doing it like this doesn't quite work the way I thought it did. Right? How can I make it work
So
now?
that's also an interesting point that you just brought up because you said not every day. And that I have a lot of respect for you saying not every day. Because as martial artists, one of the things that martial arts gives us is I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this every day, even if I don't get the dopamine, even if
Yes.
I don't get the feel goods for figuring it out, because
Yes.
I do know that I'm going to figure it out. And when I do figure it out, the feel good is going to be there. It says your recording stopped. It says
Oh,
your recording stopped. It says you're uploaded though, so
there you
that's
go.
good.
Yeah. I got a
Oh,
phone
and we're
call. I
back
thought I
to
had the deny thing on, but
ah, that's okay. That's fine. And I can edit that out. That's okay.
perfect.
Um, so let's use what you just said and ask the other question of what else keeps you going when the thirst for knowledge is not quenched, when you haven't figured the puzzle out on the days where you're not getting the dopamine, what is the driving force?
Uh, I guess the simple answer, quick answer, is I made a promise that I would continue to train, to teach, and to pass on the art. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of as I was saying earlier, right, being a man, being a martial artist, being a guru, we're held to a standard, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what kind of person would I be to go back on my word, right? So,
Absolutely. Very honorable. I appreciate that. So I do keep these at like around an hour. Is there
okay.
something that you wanted to say that I didn't ask, or something that you want to, a topic you want to, I'm going to kick it to you. If there's something you want to talk about, discuss, or
Oh,
just say, yeah.
huh. Wow, we covered a lot. Yeah, huh. That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, right? I mean, maybe that's a
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
subject for another
The,
podcast or.
I mean, the thing about these podcasts are we're trying to cover decades of martial arts study in an hour.
Yeah.
And so things are going to slip through the cracks. Um, I have been threatening to do, I want to do panels, and I'd love to put you on the list to have you in on one of the panels. I just haven't
Okay.
figured out logistically how I will moderate said panels.
Ah.
Um, but, like the idea would be a discussion just on choke defense or whatever
Okay.
arbitrary topic that we pick, and then we just can dive into that topic for an hour as opposed to like such a broad spectrum that it's a little bit it's more
Yeah.
difficult to nail down.
For sure. For sure. It's funny you say that. I recently there's a CrossFit gym out here in Livermore, and I
Mm-hmm.
taught a woman self defense class there.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I taught was a defense against a rear choke. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I've made like the primary focus is dropping your weight, right? Oftentimes people will get choked and they stand up and they are kind of scratching at the and doing this kind of stuff, but you're not grounded, so the person can just kind of ragdoll you around, right? Versus if
Hmm.
you sink into like a horse stance of such, right, and drop your weight, now you become heavier. Now you have some base to work
Hmm.
with where you can do your technique. And then
Hmm.
maybe a day after that, I saw this video. Fortunately, the lady got away, but she was kidnapped from her school or her store, yeah, like the broad daylight, and the
Hmm.
guy drug her out. And I sent that to the CrossFit coach. I said, "Wow, we just literally, talked about this in the self defense class. Things you hope you never have
Well,
to use, right?" But
things you hope you never have to use. I'm glad that the person got away, like you said. It happens far too often. I always joked and said that martial artists were teaching people how to move naturally and not how they naturally want to move.
yes,
You
yes,
know,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
because I mean, the natural freeze of any sort of attack is what
Yeah.
our bodies want to do for some reason, but that's not what naturally we can and should do.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you do self defense classes, what do those look like? How long are they? Do you do any lecturing? Is it all technique based? Um,
It's mostly technique based.
Mhm.
I give a little spiel, right, just to let people know. I go, unfortunately we live in a time where if you are attacked and you have to use this stuff, um, if you survive, you're gonna be able to find it on YouTube. However, no one is gonna help you.
right, right. Jeez.
Right? I mean, it's the unfortunate truth of the world we live in, right? Everyone will be quick to pull the phones out to record,
Mhm.
but the people to help you are far and few, between, right?
Right. One of the things that I do when I teach self defense is I bring in my high rank belts. And those individuals are not there to help me teach. They're not there to help the people that are taking the class learn. They're there to learn crisis intervention. So
Oh,
how do their techniques work against somebody that's not fighting you but is fighting somebody else?
right.
And
That's awesome.
one of the things that it does is it does make some of the people in the class, they're like, oh, it makes me realize that there are people that will fight for me. And I was like, those people are few and far between. They do exist, but they are very rare.
Very rare.
If you were a stranger and you were out somewhere and you were being hurt and I was around, I would jump in and I would
I
help.
would definitely jump in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's two of us right now for anybody
Yeah.
in the audience that would help, but that's 2 out of 7 billion or something like
Right.
that. So,
Right.
I mean, statistically, it's not good odds for sure.
No. 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 Actually, earlier this year, maybe earlier this year, my mom, she still lives in SoCal, so I was out visiting, and
Mhm.
we had just got in the house, and you hear this big smash, and then a follow up hit. It sounded loud. It was almost like a transformer had exploded. I was like, "Holy
Mm.
crap!" And she goes, "No, I think someone hit someone. It's happened earlier, too." I was like, "No way!" So she went downstairs, um, and she didn't bring her phone with her, and everyone downstairs is recording this guy. This one
Mm.
guy is delivering something. He's got his son in the car, young kid, I don't know, under 10. Um,
Mhm.
the other person is drunk, comes around the corner, hits the car with the kid in it. So drunk he can't figure out how to get out of the way, so he hits the car multiple times. So no one is helping, right? So my mom comes upstairs. She's like, she's pissed. No one's calling the fucking police and da da da. And my first thought in my mind was, holy shit, someone's got to go help. And before she could tell me not to go, my shoes were on, and phew, I was out the door. And I came
Right.
outside, and the dude had tried to run on foot away, and no one was chasing. And he had, I don't know, maybe like a half a block on me. And he's on one side of the block, I'm on the other side of the block. Long story short, I chase him down, get him on the ground. Actually, the funny part, the little kid who was in the car comes up, and poor little kid, I'm sure he's scared, but he's also pissed off.
Right.
And he comes up to the
Right.
guy, and he says some words in Spanish and kicked the guy on the ground. It was hilarious. And the guy, the kid's dad is trying to tell him, no, mijo, go sit down. And the kid would sit down, and he'd be giving that guy the evil eye out of the corner of his eye. And he got back up another time and kicked him again. And I felt bad. I was like, kid, if your dad wasn't here, I'd let you hit this guy. I understand your frustration.
Well, and also, though, that story, that kid in that moment, he got the thing.
Yeah. That kid definitely
he
had
got the thing.
Yeah.
So he's
no one
got
had
it.
to tell him. No one had to.
Right. No one had to tell him. So he need that kid, wherever that kid is, hopefully he's taking martial arts so that he's got control over the thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he definitely had it. He was on the border of turning full Sith,
Yes. That's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what we want. You walk up to the line. Don't cross it.
Don't cross it. Yeah, just get right there. Maybe peek over it a little bit, but don't cross. Don't cross.
That's right. We peek from time to time. We do.
From time to time, yeah. But that was a situation where no one was going to help, right? And
yeah. And like the same thing that you said earlier, where you feel that you made a promise to study this art and to teach this art. There's something about martial arts where it's like, for me, martial arts saved me from an abusive situation, and then
awesome.
Folded over, saved me from myself,
Yeah.
And so then you come out the other side of that and you're like, oh, I feel some sort of like life debt to this art.
Yes.
That I now have to keep going, and I have to teach. And when I'm teaching, I'm in part saving myself by saving people that were just like me.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing. There's all these debts that come across with it. We have obligations verbally that we've signed with other people and instructors that we've agreed to, and then the non-verbal ones that we make with ourselves to allow us to keep going and doing this thing.
Right. So, yeah. Or to humanity, right? To try to help, be just a little bit better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Brother, this has been a wonderful conversation.
Definitely.
I cannot thank you enough. You want to tell people that are watching this where they can find you?
Yeah, definitely. Bay Area PDT pretty much will get you to me, and on Facebook it should be Guru Jules Sims, and check me out, add me as a friend, make lots of jokes, have fun.
Yeah, I laughed more with this podcast than I have any of the others, but that's great. It's wonderful. I appreciate it. So I want to thank everybody that watches this for watching. I want to thank you for being on this podcast. And also, like I tell everybody else, now that you're on this podcast, you're part of my martial arts journey, whether you like it or not. And I thank you for that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
And everybody, keep kicking.
Awesome.
Okay. That was another great one. I got a bunch of stuff in the works. I'm not ready to really divulge or talk about any of it. The next month and a half is going to be pretty busy for me personally. We're hoping to make 2026 phenomenal. We're intending to make 2026 even more of building community. This podcast isn't even a year old, and the amount of community that has already come from it is mind blowing. I am overwhelmingly grateful, at the community that I have cultivated thus far, the communities that I have been brought into, the reception and open doors that each and every one of you all have provided, and I cannot thank you enough. I hope you enjoy. I hope you write the book. I hope you record the podcast. I hope you write the poetry. I hope you make the YouTube video. I hope you write the screenplay, shoot the short film, act in the play, direct the play, write the play. I hope you create. I hope you find something that excites you and you act on that. You follow that visceral feeling. You chase that excitement as much as you can. And I hope you build community. I want to end this one with the lesson of, if you've labeled yourself introvert, please take a moment and ask yourself, are you introverted, or have you not found the right group of people to fellowship with? It can be both. It can be both. There are people that are genuinely introverted, but they become more introverted because they don't have their tribe, their community, their people. Find your people. Keep kicking, guys. Love you.